Mullen Automotive stock float has basically 3x'd in the last 5 weeks. Hi again, everyone. Now, it was a very painful Wednesday, obviously. We had the post-market filings from Tuesday kind of trickled into the market. I didn't actually initially see those yesterday when I talked about the stock. And obviously it's rampaged on the Marion Automotive stock. We've dropped 30% in a session where there was no effective short selling happening. Brutal. So obviously key among these things is the fact that effectively almost 300 million new shares in Mullen Automotive have been created. Not all of them have been put into the float as of yet, but they are all in the pipeline, and most of them are now actually in effect. And that basically a lot of it stems from the equity raising, which was executed, finalized on the 12th of June. But because of the depressed share price of Mullen Automotive, it meant that so many more shares had to be issued for the company to obtain that $45 million in funding. And there's also provisions in place for further equity raisings. Now, there's also further pain on the way because there's also a 52 million share incentive plan for executives in place. Do they deserve it? I don't know. Hard to say, given the way that the stock is performing. Doesn't look very good. And further to that, there's also, in the proxy terms for the upcoming shareholder meeting in August, there is a provision that people are going to be voting on whether or not there should be an expansion of the executive team by 2, which would mean possibly more more dilution in the form of selling shares. So it doesn't look really good. Really painful, hard to digest. We're now back down to around the 22-cent per share mark. It's really hurting. Now, if you also look at those proxy voting matters, you also see that there is a proposition for a reverse stock split, and we've just had one, a little bit over a month ago. We survived it. We regained NASDAQ listing compliance, but we are obviously under that $1 per share mark again. So we are again in breach of the NASDAQ listing rules. So really, I can't see the stock really getting back above the dollar on its own before the next shareholder meeting. That doesn't mean the reverse stock split is going to be enacted straight away, but you just get this feeling that it is going to come. It's going to happen. So it's a hard one to stomach. It's always been hard to sort of stomach what goes on with Mullen Automotive, but today was, and digesting this news was particularly brutal. Now, in terms of, obviously, these matters have to get voted on, and I don't think they're going to be voted against. They'll be voted in favor. You look at who holds all the shares in the company. It's all institutional holders now. All the retail investors have been basically diluted out of the stock. With our whatever stocks we've got left count for peanuts in comparison of the grander scheme of things. So I don't see that getting ahead. Now, in terms of, like I said, the reverse stock split will likely happen. I don't think it's going to happen straight away. So because NASDAQ compliance has been regained, the company can possibly actually defer it for another 6 months when they first get the warning. However, if the stock gets to the 10-cent mark, then we're going to be in a bit of trouble, because then it becomes a little bit more urgent. So, and that's, looking at the way the stocks move this week, we're kind of heading that way. It looks like it's hard to say. I don't know if it's going to be able to bounce back significantly from where it is here, even with some positive developments that might come out with Mayo and also the production updates. But yeah, it's a real hard one to digest. I'm sure a lot of you are feeling, like me, quite sore at what just transpired on Tuesday. I haven't bet the house on this one, but like, it's still hurts a bit. I know I got into the stock earlier this year. You're kind of hoping, the need to raise all this money was kind of in the past. I had a feeling there'd be some more equity raising, but the extent of what's going on is kind of mind-boggling, considering we've had a reverse stock split, and the level of dilution that's gone on since then. It's a tough one to stomach. Anyway, don't know what to say. Let me know your thoughts on it all. have you given up all hope on Mullen Automotive? How do you feel right now? Is there ever a time to buy into the stock? Is it too risky? Is it going to be too much more of this sort of dilution action happening? Share it in the comments below. Till next time, everyone, may the markets somehow trade in your favor. Cheers.